Hi, my name is Elisa. Today I'm gonna give you some tips of how you can achieve this level of fluency in English studying by yourself without having to live in another country or paying for some private lessons. I actually lived in Brazil my entire life. I've never even been to the US, and I'm saying this because it's possible. This is the way that I've learned, and today I'm gonna give you some tips of how you can do it too.
1, 2, 3, go!
Então vamos lá. You can achieve this level of blah blah blah. Studying English. Wait, how do I say this? There's a cat there. No. Que isso? Tá gravando esse tempo todo? Okay. So the first tip, the first thing that you need to define is your reason why. You need a main reason to keep going. This is gonna be your fuel, especially in those days when you don't feel motivated at all, but you will remember why you're doing this and you will get excited to do it again. Learning a new language is hard, especially in those days where we just ask an AI to translate everything in, 5 seconds. And learning a new language won't take you 5 seconds. And sometimes it gets tiring and there's no motivation without a bigger purpose. So this is the first thing that you need to make it clear for yourself. Why do you want to learn English after all? My main reason back then when I was 11, 12 years old, I don't even remember, I was very young, is because I've always wanted to travel and live abroad. So at the time I couldn't do it. I was still at school and we didn't have money for an internship or something like that. Then I thought, what can I do today? What is in my hands today that will lead me closer to that dream? And was speaking the language. So I started studying and I've never stopped. Since today, I'm still studying. So your reason why is what will carry you when the motivation disappears. The first thing you need to settle is this. The tip number 2 is to change the language of your thoughts. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but this was the thing that helped me the most. And basically, you start to think in English in your daily routine because your thoughts are real life vocabulary. Like, I need to get ready, I'm gonna be late, what I'm gonna have for breakfast, I need to do my makeup before I leave. All of these daily thoughts are gonna build a very rich vocabulary, which is what you're gonna need in your daily life speaking in English. But most importantly, when you try to form a sentence in English, you will realize the words that are missing in those phrases. And this will be your teacher. This will be your guide of what exactly you need to learn. Basically, the process of doing this is you think in Portuguese, you translate to English, you try to say it, then you notice the missing words, you look up for the meaning of them, the translation of them, and you repeat again and again and again. And by doing this, your own mind and brain will become your teacher. It will show you exactly what you need to learn. And one of those words that were missing were actually a whole category of words that when I learned them, it gave me hundreds of possibilities to form a sentence, which are the modal verbs. And we listen to this at school, but we don't really pay attention of what it is, and we don't exactly know the importance of this, but believe me, this is gonna help you a lot. So basically, modal verbs are can, could, should, must, might, would.
Might.
I might go. I might go there. Like, perhaps I'll go. And they help you to express the ability of doing something or the possibility of doing something, permission, giving advice. So I had all these random words, and with the modal verbs, I could properly form a sentence, tons of sentences. It basically completed my communication. The other tip is doing active and passive learning through TV shows and music. When I started this journey, I was watching Friends or Sons of Anarchy, I don't remember, but one of those. And whenever I was watching or listening to any music, I wasn't just enjoying the show and just watching. I was actively listening to every single word that was spoken. And by doing that, I was trying to match with the subtitles and trying to find the exact correspondent word in Portuguese. I was with the Portuguese subtitles, so I was listening and trying to figure it out if the translation was correct and the difference of forming a phrase in English and reading that in Portuguese. So you can do this with absolutely every TV show or music that you're listening, but I highly recommend doing this with friends for one reason. My boyfriend is just there saying that it's not a good idea, but it is, and I made him watch Friends and he loves. And I highly recommend you to try doing that with friends for one reason. There's a lot of repetition of daily expressions and phrases, and it's a natural American speaking. It's probably all of the conversations there are possible conversations that you will have with your friends or colleagues there. So it's very easy to understand, and they repeat a lot of terms in a lot of episodes, so it helps you to memorize. So I highly recommend doing that with friends. And I know you may think that it's annoying to watch some TV show and be always aware of what exactly they are speaking, but sometimes I didn't want to do that, and I just simply watched, but unconsciously my brain was doing that job of paying more attention of what exactly they were saying. So even if you're not trying that hard, if you had that command in previous episodes, when you don't put the exact same effort, your brain will automatically continue doing the work. So basically, watching series helped me to understand the English, but trying to sing musics in English helped me a lot with the spoken part. When I was younger, I was doing some voice coaching lessons. I don't know exactly how do I say this, but I wanted to sing, so I started taking some classes. I only could sing in Portuguese. I couldn't sing in English, and I didn't even know the meaning of the lyrics, so how could I do that? I really wanted to learn some techniques from the pop divas that I was a huge fan of. So I started to translating the lyrics and listening how they pronounce the words, how could I sing like them, and I was imitating them. Learning the voice technique, but also learning how to pronounce properly. This thing of trying to sing like them and translating the lyrics helped me a lot with vocabulary, but with speaking. So TV shows basically helped me with understanding and singing with speaking. Another thing you can do is to shift all of your devices to English. Yes, your Mac, your iPhone, your iPad, whatever device you have. Doing that, you're gonna learn a very functional vocabulary, like settings, adjustments, commands. And I know it can be annoying sometimes. Every word you don't know, you have to look up for the meaning, but this constant exposure to the language and this repetition over and over and over will build the memory. And when you realize, you are not even noticing what language it is. Another thing that is very, very crucial and important is studying grammar. Yes, it is important. You cannot skip this, and I couldn't speak the way I did today if I didn't study the grammar part. You can't only rely on watching TV shows and listening to music, but you really need to study the grammar to understand how those sentences are made up and built. Back then when I started, I didn't have enough money to pay for private lessons, so I used my sister's old English books and I studied with them. I had a lot of free time because I was only at middle school, and every single day I grabbed those books and I spent 1 or 2 hours, I had time back then, studying the grammar and enhancing my vocabulary, so that helped me a lot. You don't need these old books anymore. You can watch some videos on YouTube or even ask some AI to train you and become your teacher. So basically, this is what I did to learn English. These are my tips and advices for you. And one thing you need to know is that most people wait too long to start speaking. But you don't need to be perfect. You only need to start, because fluency doesn't come from perfection. It comes from action. So you just need to start, and the sooner the better. And even after all this, I'm still studying. I still have a lot to learn. And to help you guys, I'm gonna link below some channels that I really like. So if you want to access those channels, just click there. Basically, this channel will be a space where I share my life, my experiences, and a great opportunity for me to practice my English. So if you're also learning, we're in this together because I'm still learning a lot of things. And well, I hope you enjoyed and that these tips were useful. And that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.